Chef Nouveau. I'm here with Eli Anderson, Executive Chef of H20 Sushi. And I had a couple questions to ask him about behind the scenes sushi. So, nice to talk to you today.
Thanks for coming.
Cool. Yeah, I know that H20 Sushi, especially their rolls, they're a little bit different than what you see elsewhere in Indy. You know, I see like capers, basil, lemon even in the rolls, and I was just kind of wondering what kind of style that is, where that comes from.
Well, it's more of a style that the guys and I create that's just, it's cooking. The customer these days, they are so used to having different ingredients. It's not just tuna maki rolls and eel maki rolls. It's well thought out, well prepared sushi rolls that have a purpose. They just aren't thrown together. They're thought out. We taste them, we change them, and it's also has to do with the seasons as well. It's more of a Californian style than a classic Japanese style. So we really try and do things that are fresh and exciting and change them around as much as possible.
Cool. And I think you had mentioned before, people can kind of tell you what they want to, and
yeah, I mean,
I want this.
That's the beauty of sushi. It's just like pizza. We don't have the bomb or the works, but if they can make that at Donato's or at some guys or at Basbo. If we have the ingredients, we'll put it in. Vegetarians come in all the time, and it's kind of with the veggie rolls especially, it's kind of build your own roll. We tell them what we have and they do it. And sushi is so tightly knit as far as the ingredients go that we try and expand people and let them create stuff. And that's how sometimes we get those special sushi rolls, or even rolls that make it on the list, is people that have had them somewhere else. Like the airport roll that we do is a guy that designs airports all over the world, and it's his favorite roll. And then we have a 300-mile-an-hour roll, which is a guy that's a top fuel racer, and it's the 333.61 roll, but that's his world record speed. So these guys, we kind of figure out the niche that they have and the rolls that they do, and we go with it. So people, yeah, we encourage people to create as much as possible, and then that's how we learn from around the globe, because we get so many people that travel that they say, when I was in Miami, I had this hot roll that was, cool, and we build off of that. So yeah, we like to let the guests be as interactive as possible.
So it seems like sushi is a lot more American than people think, rather than just, people think, I think sometimes of sushi as very Japanese, but the way that we do it here and the way we consume it here, I'd say it's a little bit American. Would you agree with that? Or?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's changing every day, and it's becoming more popular. I mean, I remember when I started here 3 years ago, people thought the same thing about lemons and limes and blood oranges and Meyer lemons, going on sushi, and now it's the norm for a lot of places, and people are kind of catching on to that. But that goes back to that Californian influenced style more so.
I didn't know that. Something that kind of goes along with that is I tend to get tuna rolls. A lot of people get California rolls with either shrimp or fake crab or whatever. But what about some new fish that maybe people aren't eating as much, that's on the menu, that's maybe something that you would recommend people try, that's not astronomically priced, but that's kind of a best kept secret fish?
Amberjack or kanpachi, like we talked about earlier, the Kona kanpachi, I think, those are the same fish, American and Japanese names, or Hawaiian name. The kanpachi is great, really small, really great in flavor. And then, I like the exotic ones like mackerel and uni, which have a ton of flavor. They have to be extremely fresh, and you don't see them a lot around town because they're kind of hard to deal with, and you have to sell a lot of it to make your money off of it. But those things are what customers are looking for. And that's kind of where we went with the new style of food, is we can do salmon the same way if we need to, but adding those herbs and a little bit of heat and a little bit of lemongrass and some fruit on top. That's where we kind of took away from having to do a lot of crazy fish and just doing what we do normally and just making it a little bit better.
The cookies here. The cookies that I believe Nicole was, it was her recipe, the shagbark cookies.
Oatmeal shagbark pecan cookies. Those have taken a life of their own, that's for sure. We're more known for the cookies now than the sushi, which is great because they're really good. So they are cookie crack, if you will.
Yes, but, they are cookie crack.
Yeah, so we sell a lot of those. You can get them at Goose the Market, a great place down at 25th and Delaware, and get them at the Monon Coffee, and hopefully more places in the future. But they just kind of evolved into this thing that is cookies. We do 100. We bake about 100 a day, and that's on a regular week. On a busy week we do a lot more.
Yeah. I think I might get a sushi roll named after me if I play my cards right. This is Jennifer Litz for Nuvo signing off.